What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of the Easy OSRS boss series. Last episode we checked out the Cowfight Queen, so if you haven't seen that one and are looking for a boss to kill, check out the video sometime in the future. For now, we're going to get on with episode 2 and see what we can get into today. On this episode, we're going to be checking out the Dagannoth Kings. The Dagannoth Kings are a notoriously easy boss, and they're also known for their ability to make a player incredibly wealthy in a somewhat short amount of time. The Dagannoth Kings are one of the original boss monsters from back in the day when old school RuneScape was just RuneScape. The Dagannoth Kings are located in a cavern located on Waterbirth Island, which resides in the Fremennik provinces. It's a bit of a hike getting there, but most of the time it can be well worth the trip. The Dagannoth Kings, or DKs for short, are three massive Dagannoths, each boasting a combat level of 303. They each use a different style of attack which covers the entire combat triangle. Dagannoth Supreme uses a ranged attack, Dagannoth Prime uses magic, and Dagannoth Rex uses melee. Because they each only use one style of attack, it makes for incredibly easy soloing. In order to successfully solo the DKs, I have a few recommendations. I recommend you have at least level 80 in both attack and strength, level 70 defense, level 75 range, and at least 75 magic. Level 75 magic is a softer requirement, as 75 is needed for a Trident of the Seas, but one of the methods I'm going to show you won't require you to have 75 magic. I'll explain this more in detail later. So before we jump into how to kill the DKs, let's pull up a little bit of background information on each Dagannoth King. Each Dagannoth King has a couple of similarities. All three of them have a combat level of 303 and a hit points level of 255. As for each individual DK, we'll start out with Dagannoth Supreme. Dagannoth Supreme is the ranger out of the trio. His maximum hit is 30, and his weakness is any form of melee. He doesn't have a specific weakness, so any decent crush, slash, or stab weapon will get the job done. Supreme does have a very high magic defense bonus and even higher range defense bonus, so the only way you'll be able to kill him is through melee. Rare drops from Supreme include the Circle Bow, Dragon Axe, Archer's Ring, Pet Dagannoth Supreme, and Elite Clue Scrolls. As for the more common drops, the drop table isn't very good, but there are some things worth picking up, such as the Iron Knife drop, Archer Helm, Torstal Seeds, and Noted U-Logs. Next, we'll check out Dagannoth Rex. Rex is the melee-based DK out of the trio. His maximum hit is 26, and his weakness is magic. In fact, Rex is so weak to magic that you can literally wear any armor in the game and still hit very well with magic. As for his defensive stats, he is impervious to melee attacks and ranged attacks, as his defense against these forms of combat are very high. Rare drops from Rex include the Dragon Axe, Berserker Ring, Warrior Ring, Pet Dagannoth Rex, and Elite Clue Scrolls. Like the other DKs, the more common drops aren't very good. He does drop some things worth picking up: Rock Shell Plates, Rock Shell Legs, Noted Mithril, Coal, and Iron Ore. And that's about it. He will provide you with some food drops here and there, so it could help you sustain if you're running low on supplies. Lastly, we'll take a look at Dagannoth Prime, who is the mage of the DKs. In terms of maximum hit, Prime is most definitely the strongest, with a maximum hit of 50, so you'll always want to be watching out for him when he spawns. As for his resistances, he's incredibly strong against melee attacks and magic attacks, so you'll most definitely want to use ranged against him. Although he is a DK, his drop table is the worst of the three. His rare drops include the Dragon Axe, Mud Battle Staff, Seer's Ring, Pet Dagannoth Prime, and Elite Clue Scrolls. Other notable drops that are worth picking up are the Air, Earth, and Water Battle Staffs, Death and Blood Runes, and Snapdragon Seeds. Now, the reason DKs can be so profitable is because of the ability to stay for long periods of time, and that each rare drop is only a 1 in 128 chance. Compared to other items that are considered rare, like the Abyssal Whip for example, you have a 4 times better chance of receiving one of the rare drops from DKs as you do an Abyssal Whip. The DKs also share another characteristic as well. Each one of them has a 1 in 16 chance of rolling the rare drop table. This is the table that includes the Dragon Medhelm, Shield Left Half, and Half Keys. So that's going to bring us to the end of the background information part of this guide. If you'd like to see each individual DK's drop table, as well as the rare drop table, check out the description below for links where you can check out all their drops more thoroughly. So now that we're finished with the background information, let's hop into gear setups and how to get to the DK's lair. I'll be showing 2 different setups in this guide, as well as 2 different ways to get to Waterbirth Island. The first gear setup will be used if you were going to kill all 3 DKs, and the second if you were just wanting to kill only Dagannoth Rex. As for the first method of getting there, which is the one I suggest using if you're able, is the Waterbirth teleport portal, which you can build in your house providing you have the construction level and the completion of lunar diplomacy. This will help conserve a little bit of run energy as it makes for a faster way to get there. As for the second, slightly longer way to get there, you'll need to have your house located in Relica. Once you exit your house portal, you'll want to run north into Relica, then head to the northwesternmost dock and speak to Jarvald, who will then ferry you over to Waterbirth Island. Now that we know how to get to Waterbirth Island, we'll check out the gear setups. Most of the gear I'll be using is somewhat affordable, but if you can't afford it, just use whatever the best you have is. If you have the stat levels I recommended, your best gear shouldn't be a problem. For the Tribrid setup, I've got all three forms of combat with me. When you enter the Dagannoth King's lair, you'll want to have your melee gear equipped as you'll be killing Supreme first. For the melee setup, I've got a Guthan's Helm, Amulet of Fury, Armadillo Chestplate, Guthan's Chain Skirt, Barrow's Gloves, Bandos Boots, and a Ring of Suffering. For my attack weapon, I chose to go with an Abyssal Tentacle as it hits fast and accurate on the weak to melee Supreme. You can also sub this out for any Godsword of your choice, even a Dragon Scimitar or a Zamorakian Hasta. I'm using a Ring of Suffering because I like to maximize my defense as high as I can because you'll be taking constant hits from another NPC that resides in the DK's lair, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You can also swap this ring out for a Ring of Life if you'd prefer to be a little bit safer. The Fury can be swapped for a Glory, and the Armadillo Chestplate can be swapped out for anything that is Black Dragonhide or better. I really recommend having Guthan's if you'd like to stay for a good amount of time though, as you'll need its sustainability. After Supreme has been killed, we'll be switching over to Magic Attack to kill Rex. For this, you'll only need to equip your preferred method of Magic Attack. I chose to go with a Trident of the Swamp because its ability to hit very well and very quickly. This Trident can also be subbed out for a Trident of the Seas, or another magic spell of your choice. Ivan Blast and Slayer Dart will both work very well here. After Rex has been defeated, we'll be switching over to our range setup to kill Dagannoth Prime. For this, I've chosen a Rune Crossbow and Diamond Enchanted Bolts. I currently don't have an Armadillo crossbow, but if you have one, definitely use it. The diamond bolts can get a little pricey, so feel free to use regular adamant or even broad bolts as they will get the job done. You could also think about using a blowpipe, but I recommend having something with a little bit longer range so you can avoid aggroing Dagannoth Rex or Supreme should they respawn while you're killing Prime. Last, we'll talk about my inventory. In my inventory, I have 2 Super Restores, 4 Samfu Serums, 5 Ceradomin Brews, 10 Prayer Potions, 1 Rune Throwing Axe, a Pet Rock, and some House Teleports. This is the optimal inventory that I have found. It lets me stay for a very long time and accumulate a lot of kills. With this setup, I can usually stay for anywhere between 100 and 150 kills. You'll need the Rune Throwing Axe to actually get into the tunnels leading to the lair, which I'll show you in just a bit. And you'll need a pet rock providing you don't have a friend to help you get by the door that requires 2 people to stand on either side of it. If you don't have a pet rock, you can get one from Ask Aladdin, who hangs out just outside the long hole in Relica. You'll need to have completed the Fremennik trials to get the pet rock, but if you're checking out this guide, you should have already had that done. So now that we're on Waterbirth Island, we can start to make our trip to the cave where we'll find the Dagannoth Kings. Now I usually don't bring a stamina potion with me, but it's up to you if you want to sub out one of your prayer potions for a stamina potion. I did it for the purpose of this video just to make the trip down a bit quicker. So you'll start to run to the north and follow the path around the island. As you continue to follow the path, you'll find yourself at a cave entrance. Enter the cave. Once you're at the cave entrance, you'll run to the east and go to the northernmost door that presents itself. Once you're at the door, this is where your pet rock will come in play. You'll want to stand on one pad, drop your pet rock, walk to the next pad, and open the door. Pick up your pet rock, but if you do forget to get your pet rock, you can always go back to Ask Aladdin and grab another one. From here, we'll want to follow this tunnel to the east and equip our Rune Throwing Axe. Once we get to this door, you'll want to stand directly 1 step away from it, turn on your special attack, and throw it at the door support in the middle. The axe will bounce around and kill all of the doors so you can enter. Once you're in here, you want to turn on your Protect from Magic prayer and climb down the ladder. Run through to the next ladder. Turn on your Protect from Range prayer. up the next ladder, and you'll run to the east, and then take the southern ladder as opposed to running to the other side. Through here, you'll run all the way to the west to the next ladder. Ignore the one to the south, you don't want to go to that one, and you'll go down. Once in here, turn on your Protect from Magic prayer again, and continue on to the other side. Go up the ladder, down the next one, to the south to the next ladder, where you'll find yourself in a room with some giant rock crabs. Run to the east and climb down the ladder. Run through here, putting your Protect from Range prayer on, as the Dagannoth's range and melee, but I find the range ones to be a bit more potent. Follow the tunnel along and climb up the next ladder. Continue along to the north, climb down the ladder. As you run through the final tunnel, you'll want to have your Protect from Melee prayer on, as all the Dagannoths in this tunnel use melee. I forgot to switch over to Protect from Melee here, but it's no big deal. Climb down the last ladder, and then wait here behind the ladder if you didn't bring a stamina potion. You'll want to have your run energy up as high as you can to run down into the DK's lair. Once you have a sufficient amount of run energy, turn on your Protect from Melee prayer and make your way through the last tunnel. Once you start to get near the bottom of the chamber, turn your Protect from Magic prayer on and continue on through. I suggest here that you drink a dose of brew to get your hit points back up, and a dose of restore to make sure your stats are optimal. Now here, you can use the Slayer room if you're on a Slayer task, or a standard room if you're not on a Slayer task. And if you peek, you can tell if somebody's down there or not by looking in your chat. If anybody is in the world that you're trying to go to, run to your east, come down here and hide somewhere and ensure that you can log out safely. Once you've found yourself a world, make sure your Protect from Magic prayer is on and head down into the cave. So from here, you'll want to take out Dagannoth Supreme first. It's my suggestion here that you just flick your Piety prayer so you can hit a little bit better and take him out quicker. It's better if Supreme is closer to the ladder, that way you don't have to tank too many hits from Rex or Prime, but you want to make sure that your magic prayer is on in case Prime does attack you like he just did attack me. So this is what your brews are going to be for, so you can ensure that you can tank these hits while killing Supreme. So I'll fast forward through the rest of the kill and then we'll get into killing Dagannoth Rex next. So now that we've killed Supreme, we can put on our mage gear and lure Rex. What we want to do is come all the way over here to the easternmost wall, stop, wait for Rex to catch up to you, and then run to the south and he'll get trapped right here on the wall. This way you can safely mage. Make sure that you still have your Protect from Magic prayer on, as Prime will always be hitting you as long as he is aggressive towards you no matter where you are in the cavern. So I'll fast forward through the rest of Dagannoth Rex's kill, and then we'll move on to killing Prime. So now that Dagannoth Rex is dead, and you're a little bit low HP, this is where your Guthans comes into handy. You want to kill the Spinalips right here, and ensure that you can heal up on them. You can only kill them if they're right here on the edge of the water, because if they're back here like this, you won't be able to reach them. Once you've gotten some of your HP back, you'll run to the northeastern part of the cavern. Up here, we'll equip our range gear and start to range Dagannoth Prime. You'll want to stay in this northeastern area, as Dagannoth Supreme won't be able to aggro you here and you won't take any damage from him. So from here, I'll fast forward through through most of Prime's kill and show you what we do next. So once you have Prime close to dead, you'll want to leave him alive for just a second, put your magic gear back on, and lure Rex once again over here to the spot. Now I strongly suggest that you lure Rex to the southern spot, just because it minimizes the risk of misclicking and aggroing Prime if he's back alive. So now that we've finished off killing Rex for our second time, it leaves us the opportunity to go finish off Prime. Once we finish off Prime, that'll mean Rex and Prime won't bother us while we're killing Supreme again. After we finish off Prime, we can go kill Supreme without having to worry about the other two Dagannoths aggroing us. If you run into a problem where you have multiple Dagannoths aggroing you, just repeat this method until you can get it set up as to where you won't have to deal with any more than one at any given time. So now that we've seen the tri-bred method, we're going to jump into the solo Rex method. In this method, you'll see in my inventory and my gear setup, not much has changed. The only thing that I've gotten rid of was my range setup, as I won't be killing Prime anymore. So from here, the gear setup for your melee is going to be identical, although you should only be using it once to kill Supreme as soon as you come in, and then you shouldn't have to mess with him anymore after that. In my inventory, you can see that I've swapped out the Sandfuse serums for anti-poison pluses. This is because we won't be using near as much prayer, and we'll rely heavily on our Guthans and Brews if we need them. So now that we've returned and we're ready to start soloing Rex, we're going to head back down into the cave and finish off Supreme as fast as we can. So after we finished off Supreme, let's start to lure Rex. Now what we want to do here is a little bit risky, but it's well worth it if you just want to solo Rex. So we'll lure Rex over here into the corner, drag him down so he gets stuck, and from here we're going to want to get our HP as high as we possibly can. So I'll drink a whole brew, restore my stats back, and now with Prime over here, I'm going to be protecting magic. Rex is stuck here and he won't be able to get to us. Supreme, we are out of his aggressive range, so he'll never be able to come over here and aggro us. So the next thing we're going to want to do is with our HP up, our prayer up, Rex stuck, Prime is on us, we're protecting magic, and Supreme is going to spawn way over there. We're going to want to X-log. So I'm going to X-log and log back in and show you what to do next. So now that we've successfully X-logged, we're going to just log back in. Once we log back in, all of the Dagannoth Kings won't be aggressive towards us anymore, giving us the ability to just solo Rex. So what we want to do is run up here, aggro Rex, and run back down here into the lure spot. Once he gets close enough, we'll drag him back down to the corner, and then we won't have to worry about praying against Supreme or Prime, and we can just kill Rex as many times as we can before we run out of supplies. Now what you'll want to remember here is you don't want to really cross the second northern half of this little hill right here. If you cross that, that'll put you into Prime's range and you'll have to X-log all over again. But there you have it. You now have all the information you need to successfully solo the Dagannoth Kings, whether it be all three of them at once or just chasing that Berserker ring drop from Rex. So, like every video in this series, I did kill 100 Dagannoth Kings for this video. I chose to do the tri-bred method to increase my chances of getting one of those valuable ring drops. Now the Berserker ring and the Archer's ring are the ones that are worth your time, but at least if you get a Seer's ring drop, it'll help you pay for your supplies. So after 100 kills, I did end up getting a little lucky. I managed to grab an Archer's ring from Dagannoth Supreme, which definitely made these 100 kills worth it. Of everything I picked up, I ended up with about 3.4 mil. As for supplies used, I didn't really use that much. You'll have to remember, I am max combat, so I'll use supplies a little more sparingly than the average player. All in all, I used about 300k in supplies, which gives me a total profit of 3.1 mil. It took me 3 hours to solo 100 Dagannoth Kings, so I ended up averaging just over 1 mil profit per hour. If you're lucky, you can average much more than this if you manage to grab multiple ring drops, or if you're unlucky, your trip can lose you money. But all the same, you gotta play to win. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Episode 2 of the Easy OSRS Boss series has come to an end. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful in your bossing endeavors. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. The likes really help getting the video to circulate around. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll try to get to every single one that I can. Also, do me a favor and tap that subscribe button before you head out. I'll have the next Easy OSRS Boss video out as soon as I possibly can, so keep an eye out. With that, I am out of here. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Take it easy.
I'm like, hey, what's up?